time to look back at day one of the first test match in Nagpur. Dinesh Karthik, everyone's favorite Dinesh Karthik, joins me after a long day of commentary, but I'm sure he isn't complaining because he saw a terrific performance from Team India. Pat Cummins won the toss and chose to bat first, and everyone said, wow, great toss to win. But it didn't seem so because their batsman did not do the job. 177 all out Australia. Who would have thought? Because the Indians came to the party and everyone shared the responsibility. India replied 77 for 1, losing the only wicket of KL Rahul, who spent a lot of time on the wicket, but he'd be really kicking himself for losing his wicket because of a really loose shot towards the end. Rohit Sharma looks good and looks like he's back to his best in Test cricket. DK, what did you make of day one? Dominant show from the spinners, very well complemented by Rohit and Rahul. Your thoughts?
I thought it was a fabulous day for India. And I say that because right up front, there was a lot of talk about the pitch. But who got the first two wickets? Who dented them up front were the fast bowlers. And then the spinners took over and had a lovely day. And what was even more beautiful from Team India's perspective was both the openers got off to a good start. Rohit went on to get a 50 and is still batting overnight. Yes, we lost KL Rahul, a rather simple shot, a soft dismissal, as we generally say. But overall, a terrific day's play. Border Gavaskar Trophy is a big tournament. And what makes it even bigger is the fact that there is a World Test Championship final round the corner. So if you put all of that into context, getting into this series and having the first day as a very big day is very important. And they did a fabulous job. And I think Team India would be very, very happy. Rahul Dravid would have a very, very safe and sound sleep for tonight.
Now, a lot of the reasons of the dominance on day one was because of the prolific bowling of the Indian group. First, it was Shami and Siraj who sent the openers packing. Then it came to Jadeja, who broke the back of the middle order. And then Ashwin cleaned up the tail. So overall, it was a bowling performance where everyone came to the party.
Absolutely. I think we got to understand that on a pitch where a lot was spoken about the fact that it laid spin, we've lost the toss. So that will put a little bit of pressure. But the first two wickets by the fast bowlers, and then from there on, absolute dominance from the spinners. They were very accurate. They bowled in good areas, constantly kept asking the question. But credit to the two good Australian batsmen up front, Smith and Labuschagne. When they were batting it, they did make it look like there was not too much happening. And in fact, there wasn't too much happening. And that's why today is a day when just 11 wickets fell. Yes, 9 out of the 11 fell to the spinners, but you have to understand when you bat well, when you apply, there are runs possible on that wicket, like Rohit Sharma showed, like a Manas Labuschagne showed. So there is opportunity for batters as well. But overall, as you've just spoken, a very, very good day for the bowlers, especially the spinners. The fast bowlers, when they came back for the second spell, they were a tad bit expensive, and that you would expect in any test match. But the spinners made sure not only did the runs not leak, but also when they got one wicket, they didn't get two or three, they ended up getting six and literally polished the tail off. And that is always a sign of a good bowling unit. And Ash and Jadeja, over a period of time, we are spoiled because they consistently produce good performances. And this was great to watch.
But the star that shone the brightest was Bapu Ravindra Jadeja coming back into the Test fold after a long time. He clearly missed this format. He'd missed playing for India. He'd had to wait, but he came back and made sure he made amends for all the time he had lost. What a special spell it was, wasn't it?
In terms of the quality of bowling, very good. But what makes this really special? We got to sit back and understand that he's been through an injury and a major one. A knee injury is always something that is very career defining for a lot of people. But Jadeja, being Jadeja, has come back stronger in 5 months' time and shown the world what they've missed for some time now. And when I did interview him post the game, he was speaking about the fact that he used to bowl 12, 13 hours a lot of the time so that he could get back his bowling rhythm. Bowling rhythm is something that you need to keep working on as a spinner. And so when his knee got better, when it was ready to bowl, he's bowled a lot of overs. And the fact that he played one domestic match and did well in that will give him a lot of confidence as well. So it was a terrific spell of bowling. Generally, Jadeja, the fact that he has overspin on the ball, keeps it on the stump and constantly asks the questions makes it very, very hard to play him consistently. And on a wicket like this, he got Manas Labuschagne and Steve Smith, two of the best batters, one with the ball that dipped and went away, and one that just pitched and straightened, and one beaten on the outside edge and one beaten on the inside edge. Shows that he bowled brilliantly. Terrific day for Jadeja, something that he will be very satisfied with. But most importantly, it was great to see Jadeja back in action and doing what he is so good at, dominating in Test cricket when the conditions suit him and support him. And that was really a joy to watch him throughout the day come from both ends of the ground, come and make best use of the conditions.
And we cannot not talk about Ravichandran Ashwin. He's crossed the 450 test wickets mark. Massive, massive milestone. Second quickest after Muralitharan, faster than our very own Anil Kumble. DK, you played a fair bit of cricket with him. You know him really closely. He's grown from strength to strength. This is a massive milestone for a super player.
R. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja are a lethal combo. Yes, Jadeja got 5 wickets today, but Ashwin was a completely different case study for today. But before that, let's speak about the fact that he's got 450 test wickets, second fastest to achieve that. Only Muralidharan has done it a little quicker. He's gotten across Anil Kumble as well. So, that's a fabulous record in itself. Most number of player of the matches from Team India. He's got a lot of records going for him. But today at the start, it wasn't that easy for him. He was trying a lot of things, bowled over, bowled around, bowled in the stumps, bowled slightly outside the off stump. But when he got that first wicket of Alex Carey, where he reverse swept and missed one, and after that he was on a roll. And the good thing about Ashwin is the fact that when he gets to the back end of the batting, the tail, he finds a way to polish them off because of his variations. He has a carom ball, he has the one that goes straight, so he's got variations up his sleeve. And tailenders are generally not great at obviously picking all the different balls that he's got. Not to say that he can't pick good batters. I think you don't pick 450 wickets if you don't pick batters, and he does that plenty. But what was great to watch was when he got that momentum, which is what he needed, he ran through the side and posed all the questions that were tough for the tailenders and made it real hard work for them. And again, that's the sign of a good bowling unit, a unit which is able to get wickets in clusters and put the pressure back on the opposition consistently every time a wicket falls. And that was very good to watch.
Now, there may be some imposters who pretend to be cricket fans. They might blame it on the pitch because there was so much talk about how these pitches will not allow Australia to do well. It was day one. Ashwin Jadeja bowled really well. The pace bowlers did the job at the start as well. And Australia did not do well. 177 is a poor score. Where do you think Australia went wrong? Was it that famous word application? Was there lack of application from the Aussies today?
Steven Smith and Marnus Labuschagne were batting, two of their best batters against spin bowling. It didn't look like there was too many demons in the wicket, in the pitch rather. But as soon as they got out, that partnership was a critical partnership. The moment Labuschagne made that error, I think India pounced in, got the next 3 wickets, and then there was a small partnership between Carey and Hanscombe. What this tells me is there's not as much happening as it is in the minds of the batters to a point, because you get the feeling that when a batsman applied himself and played, there was enough for him to score runs. And we saw that in the last partnership between KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma as well. It was beautiful. There weren't many opportunities created. So between wickets, there weren't many opportunities created. It wasn't like you need to be scared to play a defense. That's when problems occur. But this looks like a wicket where you can trust your defense and play. So I do feel Australia's batters, obviously, playing spin in India is a big challenge. One turns, one goes straight, and that's what you need to be always aware of. Try and play a lot more for the straighter one, because the one that turns away, in more cases than not, will just beat you, whereas the one that comes in will probably get you bowled or LBW. So that's an error that they made technically, which they need to go back and address. And this is a problem for most visiting teams when they come to India.
Now, there was a fair bit of buzz and lots of chatter on Twitter with this Border Gavaskar Trophy with hashtag BGT and hashtag Ask Cricbuzz Chatter. Avik Bose, one of our viewers, has sent in a question. He says, we did see Alex Carey counter-attack and he got a few runs as well for Australia, but also lost his wicket in the process. Besides counter-attack in cricket, is there any other way to grind out runs against this Indian spin attack? DK, your thoughts?
So the biggest concern when you play on a turner is the fact that you fail to trust your defense. And people who have a weak defense try and literally hit out the opposition in so many words. But sometimes they counter attack because that's the best way of attack. I mean, that's the best way of making sure the bowler is on the defensive as well. Alex Carey, as you saw, he counter attacked, but mainly with the sweeps and reverse sweeps. But as a bowler on the first day, you always believe that one error could get you the wicket. So apart from counter attack, the other way to play on these kind of wickets is you play a lot more of the back foot. You wait for the ball to come to you instead of trudging forward and going in front and trying to smother the spin. Whereas if you try and counter attack, you got to play apart from the sweep. You also need to use your feet. And that's an error that is made. So yes, if you do trust your defense and you believe that you can wait for the bad ball, but keep constantly showing the intent to score runs, that is another way to score runs on turning tracks as well.
Now, when it's a big series, former players will have their own opinions as well. And the Aussies, especially, were very, very gung ho and they were extremely bullish about their own scoreline predictions. Some said 3-1, 2-1 for Australia. I've got a question that will give our viewers a slightly different perspective on that dreaded word, pitch. Time now for Hotspot. And so, DK, the question for you is, as was the talk ahead of the series, spinners rule the roost in Nagpur on day one. No surprises there. Now, where do you draw the line between having a pitch that is result oriented and perhaps manufacturing a pitch that helps the home team? What do you make of this relationship between the pitch curator and the board? Ethically, where are you on this? And from a cricketing standpoint, what's the right way to look at home teams making sure pitches suit their style of play?
I think we have to accept the fact that when you're touring, you are going to try and play some challenging pitches, or rather pitches that suit the home team. That is the name of the game. And that's why the away record for a batsman or a bowler is always treated with a lot more aplomb, with a lot more flair, with a lot more grace, with a lot more, as players, you feel a lot more satisfied when you do away, because it suits the team. It suits the team which is playing in home conditions. I think when Australia decided to get on the flight to come to India, they were aware that turning tracks could be the way that India are obviously going to play against Australia. And that's pretty obvious because of the quality of spinners we have, and we're going to back that. And I think there is it is very hard to prepare a perfect test match wicket which will end on day 5. You can't do that. What you can do is try and give a wicket to the home team which probably suits their strengths, and also in many ways try and take the toss out of the equation, so that in case you do lose the toss, you still have a chance of doing what you're good at doing, and getting results if you bowl well or bat well on a first day. And I think that's what this Nagpur pitch was all about, trying to give India an opportunity in case they lost the toss, which they did. But if they bowl well, they get the opportunity to pick up those wickets. And that's exactly what India did as well. I think it's all fair when you tour teams. This is going to happen. Whereas if a pitch is obviously in a neutral venue when it is played, and it is, obviously completely favoring one side, then you can have a problem about it. But if you're obviously traveling to another country, I think the country that is hosting the test match gets the opportunity to play on a wicket which will suit their strengths. And most importantly, there is only one condition there: as long as it's not dangerous, it is completely fair. And I think this wicket was definitely not dangerous to bat on.
DK, as always, very forthright, very candid with his views, doesn't mince his words, but does it ever so politely. We've looked back at day one. Time now to look at day two with fast forward. Now, India trailed by 100 runs, only one down. KL Rahul out. Ashwin came in as a night watchman. Rohit's looking really good. He's batting with a lot of clarity. What is in store for India on day two? Do you see India piling on the agony for the Australians? And how do you see day two going given the conditions and the pitch?
I definitely feel tomorrow is going to be India's day with the bat. They would lose probably 5 to 6 wickets, and they would ideally want to bat the whole day, which would put them in a commanding position going into day 3 and this test match as well. The critical part is, as the ball gets older, will there be some reverse swing for the bowlers? We also need to understand they're just playing with 4 specialist bowlers. So at some point of time, they will get tired if we bat long enough. And that is something that you will see. And we also have to remember Indian team bats deep. KS Bharat and Akshar Patel batting at 9 gives you a lot of confidence, because if we bat well and we have a couple of partnerships, it could be a very long day for Australia. And that is what I expect tomorrow. Our batters coming out and using their knowledge of playing on turning wickets on tough pitches to grind it through the spinners, but making sure whenever there's an opportunity to score, they will put it away and put a lot of pressure on the Australian bowlers. And then the fact that they don't have a fifth bowler with just Manas Labuschagne and Steven Smith to fill in the overs gives us a great opportunity to post a very, very strong score in the first innings.
Yes, it promises to be a big batting day for India. Rohit Sharma surely eyeing 100. Ashwin might score a few runs as well, and most Indian fans will be hoping that India bat only once in this test match. We'll come back to you once again tomorrow. Dinesh Karthik will be back with me, Manish Batavia, on Cricbuzz Chatter after stumps on day 2. But guess what you need to do this evening? Sign up for Cricbuzz Plus. That's where you can watch Rise of New India, brand new show, which is about the story of the rise of India's fast bowling group. Check it out and let us know what you make of it. I will see you tomorrow at Stumps with Dinesh Karthik on Cricbuzz Chatter at Stumps on day 2. See you there.